Awesome. Good morning, ladies. I am privileged and honored to be able to do this coaching call today and connect with you all. So we're going to just start off. I'm going to share my screen and do some shout outs. So hang tight till I get that up here. Here we are. Can we see it again? We're good? Okay, awesome. So shout outs for where we are so far this month. Obviously, Angela is so close to hitting her 8. Shout out to her hard work. And if she was on, I was going to ask her what she's doing that is getting her these results. So we'll just ask her in the chat. Michelle, way to go. You have 4. So you have gotten 1 big bonus so far, and you still got lots of time left. Danny, 3, myself 2, Rhonda 1, Kristen 1, and Madison has 4. Way to go, Madison. You got that first goal too. Emily 1, Jean, is it Jean? I hope I'm saying it right. We got 2, Amy 3. Way to go, Amy. Woo wee. And guys, it might be updating here, so I might not be 100% accurate with my shout out here. So we'll put that in the chat. Sadie has 2 and Haley 2. Way to go, everybody. Hard work, consistency, it's paying off. Are you loving the chat? I would love to know if y'all are loving the chat because it has been so encouraging for me to see everyone's actions. So, all right. So we're going to pivot here real quick before we do some coaching. I would be amiss to not talk about this yacht trip that our diamond is on right now. And let me just go to my next screen because it's so exciting. Okay, have you all been following Brittany's stories? I'm sure you have been, but if you have not been, you need to. Brittany, Emily, and Christina, follow any of their stories, but these are just a few pictures that, as I've been watching these stories, I have been getting right emotional about it all because if you know Brittany, you know the sacrifice and the investment that she has made in all of us. So just to see that picture of the yacht, I want to do some personal reflection with you ladies of what are your thoughts when you see that yacht, when you think about your own business and your own team. Are they thoughts that are inspiring and are causing you to get into more action? And is it building belief for you? Or are those thoughts causing you to spiral and say that I'll never get there? Right? So our thoughts create a focus, and that focus dictates whether we stay where we are or whether we move forward in the future. Okay. So I just want to challenge y'all to really think about what you're thinking about when you are watching these stories. And if you're thinking thoughts that are holding you back, you need to journal those and write those down and really work through those with your sponsor so that you can move forward in the future. So this next picture with the 3 ladies on the bed is just so, it just brings me so much joy. And it's so inspiring to me. And I'll tell you the thoughts that it has made me think this morning is, who are my inner circle? Who are my people that I could spend this time on a yacht with? And it's going to bring life. It's going to bring joy. It's going to be such a rewarding experience. So I have kids, but I'm thinking about my circle. And so I challenge you to also think about that. Who would you invite to join you on this yacht trip a few years down the road, right? Think about that, envision it, put it in your journal, and make it a reality in your mind. So the last picture, it's actually a video, but I had to screenshot it. But this is in Christina's stories, and she was just doing a scan of Emily and her and Brittany. And you can see the emotion on Brittany's face where she is just, I'm going to get emotional talking about it, but she is just taking that moment in. And in her stories, you can feel that emotion. You can feel all of those feelings that she is processing, and you can see it in her face and you can see it in her eyes. And guys, she is just as normal as we are. She did all the hard things. She leaned in when it felt really difficult. And if she can do it, we can do it, right? And so we are so blessed to be on her team. And some thoughts that I would have had when I first started Plexus, when I first started my business, was, oh, she's just using all my hard work to get all of these luxury experiences, right? Woe is me, victim, all the negativity, right? But as you get into action and you grow yourself and you connect with your sponsor and realize the investment that they're making in you, it's far from the truth, right? It is, I love you and I believe in you. And I know that you are capable of so much more than what you even can see right now. And that right there is what Brittany has done and why she is so deserving of this trip. And that's the type of leader that we want to become, right? We want to see the value of people. We want to invest in them and help them see their potential. So that's just a couple things that I wanted to point out, but I wanted to open it up to any of you. What has inspired you from what you've seen so far?
Well, I could talk for days about this, but I love, it's very easy to look at Brittany and think she's always been this confident. She's always been like the governor's wife. It hasn't really been hard for her. How nice for her, or fill in the blank. But the reality is, she had just as many fears and insecurities that all of us have. She just didn't let that stop her. She pressed in, like Kayleen said. And this really is to show us what's possible, to show us what's possible. And remember, this trip is not a sales reward. It's a leadership development. It's a people development reward. And she leaned into that. She had just as many questions. I mean, listen, I've been with her for 7.5 years. She wasn't always this confident. She wasn't always on the advisory board. When she was convinced she was going to hit diamond, I asked her this question. You know when? The morning she woke up with over 4,500 points. So it's not like you have to get your belief to, like, you can do it afraid. You can move forward. You can press through insecurities. They don't have to hold you back. And I don't ever think that they're always going to be gone. I think it's a matter, it's like, in the Bible, Jesus, I believe, help my unbelief. It's just continuing to learn and grow and move forward. And I hope you guys listened to the way that she really prayed. She asked God for things and he answered her prayers, but it's always a partnership with the Lord, right? It's not like you pray and do nothing and sit back on your couch and watch Netflix. She picked up her shovel, she grew, and she did hard work. And that's the same thing for us. If you're willing to learn and if you're willing to take action, if you're willing to do the uncomfortable things, there is no limit. Like, there is no limit to what God can do in and through you. So it is so awe-inspiring. And honestly, I'm like reaching out to all my dream teamers and I'm like, I'm not saying this may or may not be for you. Do you want to take a look? You know what I'm saying? You have got to look at this. You owe it to yourself to look at this. I want to do this with you. I don't know if the timing is right, but listen, the things that you want, this could be the vehicle for that. Are you open to taking a look? And listen, I got some great conversations going. So, what the heck are we waiting for? What are we waiting for? Anyway, I got a lot to say, but I'm going to let somebody else share.
I love it. And I love that you're just being so bold about it, because the reality is big. It's big. It's dreaming big. The fulfillment is big and it's life-changing. And so I love that, Michelle. Anybody else?
I think, I definitely agree with what Michelle said. I think it just helps me reach out to people about the business even more bold than what I ever have. Like you said, Michelle, it's like, why don't you want this? Like, I know for me at least, like in the profession that I've chose outside or before Plexus, it's like in 10 years, they're not paying for me to go on a yacht. Like, I know no other profession where in 10 years, no matter what you do, you get a paid for trip on a yacht. And 10 years may seem like a long time, but we're all gonna, I mean, it's all gonna happen for all of us. And the opportunity is just so big. And whether it's the yacht or cruises or trips, like no other company is doing this. You're not earning this with, anybody else. So I think that that's what's really helped me and inspired me to reach out more boldly.
Love that, Wimberly. And it's so true. And there's a lot that, we have to help people work through and process when it comes to, earning these trips. But it's such a blessing, and it's so life-changing. So I love that. So good. Not sure if Amy's working, if she can unmute, or Danny, but it's okay.
Yeah, I'm at work, but I can talk. I've been trying to like not cry. Oh, so I'd have there's no way this is possible. I have those fleeting thoughts, but then I push them down because I know it is. And then I guess what my issue is like, I want it now. And I think that's why wanting it now is where I get in there's no way this is going to happen because I want it now. And then I go, wait a minute. No, this is, this is the long haul. And it took Brittany 10 years. Like Whitney Wimberly was saying, there's no other company, even as wonderful as the company that I work for. It's an individual. He's amazing. He and his wife have done amazing things. I mean, pretty much and I'll just be honest, this whole 20 and a half days, every other day, I had to fill up 3 gas cans for our generator. He let me put it on his account. I've not had to pay for gas. I mean, that is such a blessing. That's 15 gallons every other day to run our generator. And so amazing as that is, he's still not going to, in 10 years, put me on a yacht for me and my family and whoever else I invite, and all expense paid, none of that. And I can work just as hard here in this for him, and that's still not going to happen. But so seeing that and seeing their stories, it makes it a reality, but it's still, like you said, it's the mindset. And then I'm working through that, and I am better than I've been. What I've realized, and I've said this numerous times, and I still keep saying it, and I haven't done it yet, is I'm still not treating this like a business. I'm not being serious. And every excuse, oh, well, I've not had power, I've not had this. Those are excuses. I'm just laying it out here, y'all. I'm just putting it out here. And it's like, it's not going to happen. Like Michelle said, it's not going to happen sitting on the couch. It's not going to happen in any of those situations. It's a decision. It's just like with my health. I've never just like, oh, I'm going to go to the gym today. It's got to be in my mind. I have to be determined. And it's the same thing with this. So I'm going to hush now, but I have those thoughts that it's not possible, but it's because I'm not doing the work. I'm not doing yes, I'm getting joints. But I'm not doing the other things that I need to do. So anyway, with that being said, I love this. I love that we get to follow this journey. And I love that Brittany has poured into us like they do. And even y'all, while they're gone, y'all are pouring into us, so it's not just Brittany. I'm sorry. It's not just Brittany, it's the whole team. And that's what I love about this. This is what I love about Plexus and this team, not just Plexus, because we could be on these other teams. We could be on some other team and this would not be happening. What y'all do for us, there's nothing else like it. So I'm done.
I love you, Amy. And there's a few things that I want to touch on here, because I'm so much like you, and I started out and just really having to grow my mindset, and I've just loved your vulnerability and your coachability. And I think you've been doing an incredible job of working on yourself to grow yourself so that you can grow your business. So when you said, you're not doing the things that you need to do, you're doing the groundwork. So it might not look like the big accomplishments that, we see on announcements and recognition, things like that. You're getting your joins, you're being consistent, but it's the slow growth. It is the personal growth that doesn't feel like growth but you're putting in the work. And I want to encourage you because you are doing the things. And what you said about it just needing to, you want it now. I'm the same way. I'm like, let's just bust it and get this. And I mean, that's how I got to Emerald. I hit Emerald in 8 months and I was like, we're going for this. I'm doing it. But I had no idea what I was doing. And Winston Churchill had a quote. I just jotted it down earlier. Success is failure from failure with no loss of enthusiasm. And I think that is honestly the root to success is the enthusiasm. And when we get stuck in our mindset, we get stuck in our ruts of comparison, or, I'm not this person, or this person thinks I can't do this, then that's going to kill your enthusiasm, right? But focusing on the enthusiasm, which what we're doing here of this yacht trip, this blessing that Plexus offers us, it continues to create that enthusiasm and excitement and belief. And it inspires us to take action when it's uncomfortable and when other people might have negativity around us. We have to choose. We have to choose that inner circle. And this is the value of this team, the value of the October Go-Getters chat, right? Is because we want to surround ourselves with people who see our potential, who see what we are capable of, and they coach us to that, right? Michelle, did you have thoughts that you wanted to add to that?
Well, I think you're spot on, Kayleen. I think so much. John Maxwell said this, and it made me very happy when he said leaders are impatient. And I was like, oh, well, thank God, because I want to be there, 8 months ago. Well, here I am 7.5 years later, because leaders see where they want to go. And I can honestly say, I am so thankful for the process and the journey, because who I am today is so different than the person I was even 6 months ago, even a year ago. And if God had given me what I asked for and the timing I had asked for, it would have crushed me. I'm telling you, it would have crushed me. But instead, he, like the master, amazing gardener that he is, has been pruning and tending me so that I could hold what I've been asking for and it not be about me. And develop the character in me. And here's the thing, I feel like there's always areas to grow in, Amy. And it's when we look in the mirror and we're willing to move forward despite the feelings, that's where growth comes in. And we all have those areas, until we meet Jesus face to face. Like I remember my daughter, she was so young, she needed to use that step stool to wash her hands. And she's a type 1 on the Enneagram. And she was saying, well, when am I going to be perfect? I want to be perfect. I was like, well, darling, unless I gave birth to Jesus, you're not perfect. And you're not going to be until you meet him face to face. There's always going to be something, but it's really not even about you, Amy. It's about what God can do through you, despite you. And then look at what are the things that you're avoiding and then why. Like I spent years avoiding the business conversations or defaulting to what was easy, which was recruiting, and defaulting to my strength zone. But what really I needed to do was grow and think, why am I avoiding this? Because generally speaking, the thing that we're avoiding is the thing that's going to move the needle forward. So writing those things down and then being intentional to do them. I mean, there's all the practical realities of how do you do that? So I guess my question, Amy, would be, what are the things you say you're not doing what you should be doing? What are those things?
Well, it's just the work itself when I get home, and I was doing it for a while and then I quit. So like sitting down and truly going through retention, the customer service, and at one point I was writing down for the week, on Sunday, I was doing my time blocking, all the things that I was doing, I've stopped. And that was like actually before the hurricane. So this, I can't use that as an excuse of the hurricane, but it's the, sitting down on Sunday, time blocking my week, using my time when I get home instead of doing it at work, because I need to not be doing that, but getting in, sitting down at my desk and reaching out, doing my reach outs, all the things. Because what I do is when I don't do that, then I'm doing it throughout the day, and I'm missing people, and I'm missing, I'm not doing the customer service that is important. And then even the same thing with retention. That's what's happened is my retention was doing really good, and now it's not. And it's why, I know why. It's, because I'm not doing the work, and I don't like it. And it's not fun. I love the joins. I love the excitement. And I'm the same way with my job. I mean, my desk is a disaster. I say this every time. My desk is a disaster because that's what I don't like. I don't like to clean up. I don't like to be organized. I don't like any of those things. So you're asking me, how can I change my mindset? I just, enjoy the boring is what I need to do. Is look at it as, I may not like it, but it's a part of it. This is what I need to do because it's important for those people. It's not about, like you said, it's not about me. This is important for them. And I'm looking at it. I think what I'm doing is I'm looking at it is this is not fun for me, which just means it's making it about me. And I need to make it about, okay, I need to reach out to these people so that can be concerned about them, because this is what I'm in this for, is for them.
Okay. Well, Amy, let's unpack some things here. So first of all, circumstances are real in life, right? So the hurricane is a circumstance. It is a situation that you have had to pivot your entire life and readjust and reevaluate how you're going to manage this, right? And so now that you've had a few weeks, there's grace upon grace, first of all, right? So give yourself that grace, but also let's evaluate what steps can we take to get back into the right activity so that we can grow your organization, right? And so let's see, like when we think about, if you're in a car accident and your bones are broken and you've got a whole lot that you've got to figure out to how to function again, it's going to take time. But also it's going to take figuring out, okay, how am I going to have to go to chiropractor, get readjusted, get these bones back into where they need to be. It's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight, but let's sit back and let's focus on, your recruiting. So you've got that first pillar down, right? So now it's the retention part. So what thoughts are you thinking around retention that's causing you to not take action?
Well, like I said, it's just not fun because I'm making it about me. And that's what, like you said, I've been in the midst of this hurricane and the aftermath of it. Well, I have my power back, praise the Lord. So now and I told Danny this morning, I said I told her yesterday, I said, I'm going to get up and walk this morning. Well, yesterday for the full day, we pulled limbs and my whole body hurts. So I did not sleep last night. So I did not get up and walk like I had said I was going to. And normally that would have crushed me because I disappointed myself again. And I'm like, no, it's just one more day. It's just one more day. And so that's the same thing with this is I got to get my mindset on getting back to doing what I was doing because it was working. It was work where I was talking to people. I was reaching out to them. I'm just falling back into that. Let me just hang out and hope it works, type of thing. And I just need to not do that. Just get back into the groove. It literally is just doing it. I'm going to think about the mindset part of what it is because I can't answer that right now. I know there's something there that is just going back to the old way, my old way. And, so I just I need to pray on that and really think about that question. And if I could answer that later, I would definitely want to answer that because I need to answer it for myself.
So when you said that you had this going, you had it working, and then you fell back, what did you feel? What made it worth it to do those proper actions in order to receive that reward, to maintain your people and to serve them well? Like, what feelings did that create in you when you were doing that?
Can't unmute. So I think the biggest thing was that I held a promise to myself, that I was doing the work that I said that I was going to do. And same thing, I keep going back to the walking, is every day, I basically, was it Atomic Habits, make it easy, make it accessible, whatever the thing is. And so I had it all laid out where it was easy. It was attractive, because when I did talk to somebody, they would be like, "Oh, thank you so much for reaching out to me," or whatever. And that's just such a great feeling. And it's, yeah, I think when the feeling I got was that accomplishment, that I was doing what I promised myself I would do. And, and I've had a lot of my whole life is like, okay, just let myself down again. And, it's like going, like I said, I keep saying this, but I go back to my old ways, which is going back to Egypt, and even though it's hard, it's what I know. And I don't want to go back, so, and I think that's where I'm frustrated, that is I've allowed myself to go back. So anyway. And again, before the hurricane, this was all before the hurricane. So then the hurricane just like set me on a more spiral. Like I just allowed it to, it started happening, and now it's just now. I know that I'm not too far gone. I know that it's just getting back started. It's not that I'm starting over. Genevieve said that when we went to Gold School, and that was I think it was then. She actually said it, Ruby, the breakout session, but she's like, "You're not starting over. You're not, if you were starting over, you would be starting at zero. You would have no customers. You would never do plexus or whatever. It would be, you're not starting over. You're just starting at a new spot." So
yeah. So when you're talking about the people saying, "Thank you for reaching out to me," were you talking about in reference to retention, or
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So when people are responding that way and thanking you for giving them quality customer care, right?
Yeah.
That feel rewarding to you?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It is.
Yes. And then here's the thing, Amy, is as you're doing that, you're helping them love their products, which is the first step to growing a strong business, right? Because happy product users are the best sharers.
Yeah.
And so I think what's getting in the way is just, we need to create a plan. Do you feel like you have sat down and been able to put your people in your customer care system, put them on a calendar? Do you have a system like that?
I don't have anything like that, because I'm not a planner. I'm not I've bought all the books, I've bought all the calendars and all those things, and they're sitting over on the side. I've just never done that, and I need to. I've talked to Katie about it, and she's like, "Amy, it's just a matter of doing it. You just have to do it." And my thing is I do it, I get it, I buy it, I do it, I have it in front of me, and then I don't go any further, or I'll do it for a little while, and I'm not found a system that works for me. And I don't know if it's not that it doesn't work for me, or if I'm not giving it a chance to work for me. You know what I'm saying? And I think, Wimberly, you may have sent me a spreadsheet, or we've sent us or something, and I had that. I've got spreadsheets. I've got calendars. I've got the time block. I've got all the things. I've got all the tools. It's just, so.
How long have you given that a chance? If you've done the calendar or if you've done the spreadsheets, like which one, or are you more like using your phone or calendar on your phone, reminders, things
Well,
like that?
and I'll tell you what I've stuck with more than anything is I have a spreadsheet in Google Sheets.
Yep.
And the only thing I have stuck with is putting my numbers in every night. That is the only thing that I have stuck with. But it's a Google Sheet, so I go and look at what my ending, when I go to, right before I go to bed, I look at my ending numbers. I put it in my Google Sheet, and I move on. Now what I was sticking with really, really well was, like I said, I have a whiteboard, and I would go on Sunday, I'd go, okay, whose orders are coming up this week? And I would write them all down, and I would put their dates, and in that way I could go in and reach out to them. I was doing that, but I've just gotten out of it, and that's where I'm doing that at home. And that's where I want to get back to doing something at home, and not necessarily on my phone, because if it's on my phone, then I'll do it while I'm at work. So, and like I said, the whiteboard, that was working, because I showed who I had joins for the last 2 months, and then who orders were coming up. And it
Mhm.
was just, it was able to, I was able to, and then I would reach out to them, a couple of days before, just to go, hey, you've got orders, everything going good, especially if it's customers that have been there for a while. So,
Okay. So it sounds like you might not be doing the customer care retention system. Have you tried
right.
implementing that?
So
Yeah.
the paper, when Christina, I think it was last month, and maybe it's 2 months ago, Christina said, wherever you are, start now. And I did.
Mhm.
I did whatever month, and it's still sitting like at my chair. It's still sitting in the same spot, and I haven't done it for I think August. I did it June, July, and August, and then I haven't done it for September or October. I mean,
Okay.
I'll do it, and then I'll stop. I don't know.
I think for me, I can relate to this, first of all, Amy,
Good. Thank you. Thank you.
because I'm
I
like,
feel broken. I feel broken, and I know I don't need to feel that way, but I do. I
no,
feel, because it's just, why can't I make it work?
it's just a matter of, it's not going to be done perfect the first time, Amy. It's going to
Yeah.
be, okay, I'm going to try this avenue. This is the route I'm going to commit to, and I'm going to give it a solid 2 months. Like you've got to set your mind to a committed time frame to say, hey, I'm going to give this a solid go of this system. Whether it's your whiteboard, whether it's a calendar on your desk, I'm going to encourage you to have a calendar on your desk, and just put your people on the days that you need to reach out to them, and start wherever you are, just like Christina said. And then write the number next to their name of what reach out that is in the customer care system, which is in our mentorship guides.
Yep.
So just start there and commit to it. And once you take the time, I think that's probably your hardest battle right now, is deciding to just sit down, take the time, go through your people, figure out where they're at in your system, where you stopped, and where you need to begin again. And so,
Okay.
and getting them on your calendar with that number of, okay, this is customer care day, whatever.
Mhm.
And then from there, that you're going to be able to evaluate your system to be like, okay, this calendar, it's got me focused, but I don't work well this way. And then you come up with, okay, actually I'm finding out through self-awareness that I'm actually work better using this other system, right? And
Okay.
so
Okay.
you just have to embrace the fact that you have to figure out how you work best, but
Okay.
you've to give it a solid go and stay committed to know that, okay, this isn't working well with how my brain works, and that's okay. So now I'm going to pivot. And then you talk to
Okay.
Katie and say, hey, I gave this a go. I've stayed committed and I'm super proud of myself, but I feel like my brain is telling me I work better this way. And then you
Okay.
come up with a new plan and you have accountability with that.
Okay.
Michelle, you messaged, you had something.
Yeah.
Well, I could not heart that enough, and I couldn't because I'm also driving and I don't want to die. So, but here's the thing, find the retention system that works for you. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm even doing something different than the printed out. Like, I just think that's too much. So if that's too many messages and it's overwhelming for you, Amy, do what Kayleen said, figure out what works for you. There's no magic in what we have printed. Some
Yeah.
people love it, some people don't. So
Yeah.
that's all I wanted to say. A resounding yes to what Kayleen said, 100%.
Well, and I love this because, and Katie, I love Katie, and she is amazing. She is absolutely amazing, but she is like, you've got to figure it out. And I'm like, I know, but I'm in this like in the middle of a tornado. I'm in the middle of I'm gonna say hurricane, but I'm like a figurative hurricane. Like it's all blowing around me, and I just don't know, and I don't know where to start. And this, like you've just said, and she's probably said what you've said to me, but what does it take 8 times for us to finally get it? And it's like, okay, figure it out, figure out what works. Because what has worked for me is the whiteboard. So now I've got a calendar here on my desk. I'm going to get the same calendar and put it with my whiteboard and do it that way instead of, and then, like you said, see which one works better. Maybe do both of them at the same time and go, okay, which one's working which one's working? Because there's nothing wrong with having the calendar. And then, because my thing is I don't like taking the book calendar back and forth and having it, everywhere I go and that kind of stuff. Because I don't carry a purse. I don't do any of those things. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
When
Amy, oh, sorry, Kaylee. I was just gonna mention, Amy and I have had a lot of conversations about trying to find systems. I will say I started using the Excel sheet. Something I had to tell myself was, you're not going to get all 500 people you've reached out to in the last 2 years into that Excel sheet in one day. It's
Yeah.
not gonna happen. Start with every day that you reach out to 10 people, 5, 10, whatever, however many. Start with those 10 people. List it out and just every day add to the list. And then you can also go back to see when you reached out to them last, like whether it's a calendar. Don't try to do everybody at once because that'll
Yeah.
just stress you out. Just start with 10.
Yeah.
that one really
Start
so-
small.
Yes.
Yeah. And the thing is, we just have to figure out how to calm our storm, right? So you're in a whirlwind right now. So the first step is, okay, what is my first step that I can take to calm this storm so that I can get my retention under control? And when you were spot on with, okay, small steps, you're not going to transform this tornado into a completed, situation. So, so wise, Wimberly. And here's the thing. We talked about this in some of our book studies where you have different locations where you do different things. Like sometimes, like when you're going to read, you have a reading chair, and that's what you do when you sit in that chair as you read. When you sit down at your desk and you have that whiteboard and you have your calendar, that's retention. Like that's your location, and you're sitting down to do that retention. You're going to focus and have a plan. So the next question is, what is your plan? How many people do you want to start knocking out every day with your retention to start creating this system and getting them on your whiteboard and on your calendar? So that's something that you can come up with, talk with Katie about it, but you need a plan so that you know what actions to take to start getting this under control. Yes.
Okay.
And I do this with my team where, life happens. Things are tough sometimes. And it's like, okay, what can you do within this circumstance in this season of your life where you can still move the needle forward? You can still invest in your business. It might not be, hustle and bustle at this point, but you still want to take ownership of your business and move that needle forward. So just figure out what is achievable in this season of life while you're still continuing to do your reach outs. You want to retain them. You're doing all this hard work, Amy, to get these new reach outs. You want to still retain them so that you have that growing business in the future. So it'll be worth that investment of slowing down to speed up.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. So we have 20 minutes. Does anyone have any conversations they'd like feedback on or questions that you would like some answers for? Nobody has problems.
Okay, I actually have a question for you.
Okay.
I'm having a sip and see tonight, and I just had a neighbor reply, so I'm just wondering how to reply to her. She just said, "Hey, won't be able to make it tonight. Um, truly nothing against your products, but I don't like taking anything." And then just wish me success. So, how do you think is best to reply to something like that?
Okay, so she was going to come to your sip and see tonight.
Well,
She,
I've invited her. This is like the third one that I've had,
okay,
and she's my next door neighbor, and I've invited her before. But she replied, she just replied because it's tonight.
okay. And have you shared any videos with her? Like how much education has she had with the products, if any?
She hasn't.
Okay.
She hasn't.
Okay, this is helpful for me. So now she's saying, thanks for the invite, but I don't take anything, like I don't do supplements.
Well, that's what my thought was. I mean, she knows my journey that I have Hashimoto's and that I've gotten better and all that. So,
Okay,
but I haven't I guess I haven't had an opportunity where I just outright asked her, outside or something.
mm-hmm. Can you read me that message one more time?
Sure. Hey, I won't be able to make it tonight. Truly nothing against your products, but I don't take anything. Hope you have success tonight.
Okay, so I would say, hey, Sally, thanks so much for getting back to me. I appreciate that. I am
Okay.
curious, how is your health? What is it that you do struggle with on a daily basis? And I'm also curious to know, you don't take supplements? I would love to hear, have you tried them before? What was your experience? So I would
Okay.
just dig a little bit to be like, oh, that's interesting. You don't take any supplements at all, and just start getting curious. And just say,
Okay.
we'll miss you tonight. I'm so sad you won't be here because we have a great time. It's a lot of fun, whatever. That's true.
Okay.
But it is a process. And I have a lady on my team who she has invited somebody to 4 sip and sees. This person came to all 4 sip and sees, never ordered. And then just this week, she said, hey, I want to order. And she said, I want to order like $400 worth of product.
Oh, wow.
You just have to embrace the process of the reach
Okay.
out and the educating. And so,
Okay.
just take a little bit, be her friend, you're her neighbor. But just say, I'm gonna miss you. I'm so sorry you aren't coming, but I am curious to hear more. Like, you don't take any supplements. What's your experience been with them? In the past?
Okay. What do you say to people who say they don't? I've had this too with other ones. Like, I just don't buy from people that take these kind of products. You know what I mean?
Because it's an MLM or because it's supplements?
Yeah, so I have to dig and ask, is it MLM or is it supplements?
Yeah, I mean, I was one of those people where
Okay.
I was reached out to multiple times and I was like, yeah, I don't do that, or I don't support that. But I just didn't understand. I didn't understand that most MLMs actually have high quality supplements and it's the best avenue that you could go. But yeah, you just have to figure out what it is that's holding them back or what their opinions are.
Okay.
Anybody else have thoughts on that? Yeah, so just dig a little bit. Michelle's messaging me.
Yeah, dig more.
Yeah, dig more just to figure out what exactly is their objection. So like, we don't want to make assumptions, and I do that a lot. But yeah, dig more to be like, tell me more about that. What is it that, what are your thoughts about it, or what's holding you back from ordering these supplements?
Okay.
Supplements, or, there's probably more questions that you could ask specifically to dig to figure out and finally nail down what exactly the thought is behind it.
Okay.
And then the best thing to do there is not try to not try to convince them, but use third-party tools to educate. Because those are going to be really helpful, and say things that we don't even know, like we're not masters of, and we don't have to be masters of. So if it, if it is, MLMs, there's so many ways that you can handle that objection through using tools and resources. Who's your sponsor?
Michelle.
Michelle. Oh, you're in good hands.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I think she'd pipe up if she could, but yeah, so I would dig more for sure.
Okay.
I mean, Kayleen, that was perfect. The only thing I would say is I would not say, is it because we're an MLM or because of products? You don't want to be, you want to ask open-ended questions. I'm curious, really, tell me more. I'm curious why. Like, don't give her options. Like, is it this or this? Because you really don't know. You want to ask open-ended questions to get them talking because you don't know what the real objection is.
Yes.
Okay. So if they say it's MLM, like I don't have answer to that. I could say ours is set up differently. I mean, is there something that you say to that if it's MLM?
I would again ask, really, tell me more.
Janine, I will say, and I mean, everybody's different, but every time I've gotten that objection, they've been burned by another MLM. That's almost
okay.
always, once I ask questions and get to the root cause, they'll be like, oh, I was in such and such and
Okay.
had to buy thousands of dollars worth of products that I never sold, or, the company burned out, whatever it is.
Gotcha.
Sometimes that's what they're linking it to, or they just have, again, like Kayleen mentioned, and I was the same way. They were just either raised or came up with the assumption that all MLMs are a bad thing. So
Right,
it's just
yeah.
it's addressing that and then overcoming that.
Yeah. And once you pinpoint what exactly is holding her back or what her objection is, we have so many resources in our guides to know how to overcome objections. So I would hop in there and just see what topics and conversations you could create to continue
Okay.
conversation with her to help her overcome it.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Welcome. Anybody else?
I was going to add, I'm just curious when she says I don't take stuff like that or take things I mean, in itself, that's a question of like, what do you mean? So I don't know if some people are actually afraid of I don't know if they're afraid or just don't understand supplements. Well, vitamins are supplements. So I don't know if it's the wording. And sorry, I'm driving, so I'm not saying anything like Michelle, but trying not to die. But when you said that, that would be my question. And it's been really hard for me to ask those questions because I feel like I'm prying. But when we go back to really caring about what it is they're misunderstanding, when we go to caring about that, then the questions come easier, is what I'm starting to learn.
Okay.
And just prefacing your question with, I'm just curious, like it's okay to be curious because people like to talk about themselves. So just go at it with the approach of curiosity and not combative approach of come to my party. Yes.
Okay.
So you want to seek to understand and help, uncover what it is that's the root holding them back.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else? How about business conversations? How are those going? Do you feel like you have conversations going with dream teamers or people who would be great at the business or happy product users?
I was gonna ask, how do you follow up with somebody who's shown interest on the business? Like, do you follow up with them more than just like the regular follow-up process? And I'll say these are happy product users. So I'm trying to find a balance between like, following up about the business while we still have the incentives for October versus, not pushing, like I don't want to be in their inbox every single day.
I mean, the goal is to keep the conversation going, right? So, if they're communicating with you back and forth and then that shows hunger. And so I would just keep feeding what they need to take that first step into sharing and stepping into the business side is they need to be inspired. So if they're happy product users, you've done that first step of them loving their products, them building belief that they work, that they're effective, that people need these, right? So the next step is inspiring them to take that uncomfortable step of talking about them. So people will talk about things that make them look good. And if they're already happy product users and they're experiencing changes and noticing things, that makes it so much easier for them to talk about because they have that reinforced belief to make that first post or to create a message saying, I don't know if this is something that you would be interested in, but my husband and I have been doing this journey for so many amount of months or whatever. Would this be something that you would be interested in giving a try? It's changed our life this way. What are your health issues? So I think it's just equipping them to take that next step and helping them feel inspired enough to do so. So I don't think there's, to answer your question, I don't think there's any like specific systematized way to get people, starting to do that. It's based off of how much connection you have and communication that they're giving you to know where they're at in their mindset or where they're at before they take that first step. So do you have an example? I'm trying to see how much time we have. Do you have an example of somebody that you are talking to that you're not sure like how fast to take them?
Yeah, so like one girl, or she's an older lady, but is a happy product user, has been using it for like 90 days. She just finished her 3-day reset and had amazing results. And we actually got on the phone because she mentioned wanting to figure out how to pay for her products. Like that's why she wants to start. And so after her 3-day reset, we got on the phone and she's like, I'll make a list. And she was going on vacation. So she's like, I'll make a list of people when I get back. And that was Monday. And so now I'm like, okay, like how can I follow up without being pushy? But yeah, I think I've pretty much been doing what you said, just kind of keeping the conversation going, making sure I balance between products and also the opportunity. And then another girl is actually a white line who ordered from me months ago, stopped ordering, and then I've just kept up the conversation with her and she went to the doctor a few weeks ago and he was like, your next option is Ozempic. Like if you want to lose the weight that you want, Ozempic is your only option. And she reached out to me and she was like, I've got to do this seriously this time. Like I've got to do it. And she just finished her 3-day reset and she's like, I definitely want to do this, blah, blah, blah. But at first she was like, I want to wait the 90 days until I have results to show. And so I think I've just been overcoming those objections slowly. But I did just send her yesterday both videos, the comp plan video and then Jessica Heffley's video.
Okay.
So I'm hoping between the two of those, because she's done MLMs before and so, but never Plexus. So I wanted to show her the comp plan so she can see the differences type thing.
Yeah, that was smart move there. So let's talk about the first lady first. So she said she would create a list, then she went on vacation and she just got back from vacation on Monday, or she just left for vacation on Monday?
No, so she was supposed to be, or she did come back from vacation on Monday, but then I reached out to her yesterday and she was like, well, I'm headed to the beach, but I'll reach out to you when I get to the beach. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Like I didn't want her to feel pressured, but I was like, just reach out to me whenever it's a good time. And so I was thinking like, wait, maybe a day or two. And then see, if she came up with that list or if she's back on vacation again, kind of whatever's going on.
Okay, so she's uninspired. She went from being inspired to I'm going on vacation and this is my excuse for not taking action because there's still something making me not take the action. So
Yeah.
making a list is not stepping out of your comfort zone. Like that's a simple step. It's doing the activity after you make the list. So I would just, I would connect with her. I would be a friend, but then also say, I am just really curious to know, you mentioned before your vacation that you were motivated and excited to create this list. What was motivating you to share with others? And then just kind of get her focus back on, well, I experienced this and this, and I want other people to know that this is a great product for them to use. You just need to help her tap back into that excitement and that belief so that she feels inspired, and see if she'll conversate about it, again with you, would be my thought.
Perfect. Thank you.
And then the second lady, trying to see if we have enough time. Okay, the second lady, so she's, help me remember again, I forget, but she's done MLMs before.
So she did some like 6 years ago. She did, I think, like Mary Kay, and then another health supplement slash cleaning business one, or cleaning solutions one. But it was like 6 years ago, before kids.
And is she motivated to make money?
Yeah, so and I asked her, I was like, what would motivate you, to do this? And I was like, is it, extra Christmas money, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, honestly, just paying off my debt. Like, she's a nurse, she's going back to school again, and things like that. So,
Okay, so what I would do with her, Wimberly, is I would send her a Because of Plexus video or a Diamond Dog that's very similar to where she's at, just to inspire her. Like, ordinary people just like her have done Plexus and have been successful and have knocked out their debt. I'm trying to think of who this girl is, that she's been a rock star here lately, that they've paid off tons of debt. I can't think of her name, but I'll drop it in the chat. But her story is super inspiring. But yeah, I would just continue to build her belief and inspire her that Plexus is different. We're a long-term, we're the original gut health. Our products are reaping effects with people. Mary Kay didn't change anybody's life. Might change the face, but what we have here is impacting people's lives. And so just continue to feed that belief and just embrace the process. But I think like what the next step is. I feel like you're pretty intuitive to know where people are at, to not be
Yeah.
put.
perfect.
Okay. Well, any thoughts on that? We have 2 minutes. Okay. Well, we're going to end this call so y'all can go to the bathroom. And Michelle's daughter ended up being sick at school, so I'm not sure if there will be another power hour after this. I saw in the chat there might be one, but you might have to stay tuned to the chat to see if she hops back on for that. So unless I should just keep this running. Was anybody going to stay for the power hour?